Hello and welcome to grammar class. Today's topic is the narration change of interrogative sentences. As you know, an interrogative sentence is the sentence of a question. It starts with a question word or a WH word. Question words such as what, who, when, where, how, which, whom, whose, etc. are also called WH words. And an interrogative sentence that starts with one of these WH words is also called a WH question or an open question because it cannot be answered in yes or no. Now see some examples of WH questions or open questions on your screen. Where do you reside? When did you come? How did he die? What did he say? Who is that man? All these open questions start with one WH word or the other. We can also see here that a WH question starts with some WH word followed by an auxiliary or helping verb, then comes the subject, and after the subject comes the principal verb. Well, let's now learn how to change the narration of a WH question or open question from direct speech to indirect speech. For example, Bob said to me, "Where do you reside?" Here reside means live. Where do you live? Here where do you reside is a WH question in the reported speech. In order to report this WH question in indirect speech, we have to first remove the comma and the inverted commas. Then the reporting verb said, which is in simple past tense, is changed to asked or inquired or wanted to know because the reported speech has a question. Please remember that while changing the narration of a WH question, we do not use the conjunction that. So instead of that, we use the WH word or the question word as it is in indirect narration. The next step is vital. The interrogative sentence in the reported speech is changed to an assertive structure which becomes the subordinate clause in indirect narration. What does this rule mean? We know that in an interrogative sentence, the auxiliary verb or the helping verb comes before the subject. In the given example, the auxiliary verb do has come before the subject you, and the principal verb reside has come after the subject. But in indirect narration, this interrogative structure is changed to an assertive structure, which means the auxiliary verb no longer comes before the subject. It either disappears or comes after the subject according to the tense. And since the interrogative sentence is changed to an assertive sentence in indirect narration, the question mark is also replaced with a full stop in indirect speech. So we have to follow these special rules for the change of narration of WH questions in addition to the general rules of narration change. So finally, in indirect narration, we have Bob asked me where I resided. Up next, we have some model examples of the narration change of WH questions. John said to me, "When will you come?" When will you come is a WH question in the reported speech here. So the reporting verb said is changed to asked in indirect narration. The comma and the inverted commas are removed. The conjunction that is not used. Instead, the WH word when is used as it is. The interrogative sentence is changed to an assertive structure. The auxiliary verb would now comes after the subject I in indirect narration. And since the reporting verb said is in the past tense, in indirect speech we have used would, which is the past form of will. You should also understand that the reported subject you, which is a second person pronoun, has changed according to the reporting object me, which is a first person pronoun, so it has become I in indirect narration. Similarly, in the second example, how did he die is a WH question in reported speech. But in indirect narration, the principal clause always comes first and the subordinate clause beginning with the WH word comes second. Here too, the interrogative sentence has been changed to an assertive structure, and since the reporting verb said is in the past tense, we have changed the reported verb did die from simple past tense to had died in past perfect tense. In the third example, we have they said to us, whom do you want to meet, in direct narration. In indirect narration, the reporting verb said is changed to asked. To is not used after asked, and the conjunction that is also not used here. The WH word whom is retained as it is. The reported subject you has become we according to the reporting object us, which is first person. The interrogative sentence has been changed to an assertive structure. And since the reporting verb asked is in the simple past tense, the reported verb want has been changed from simple present to simple past tense, but there is no change in the infinitive to meet. In the last example, the WH question, who are you, has been changed into an assertive structure in indirect narration, so the verb was comes after the subject he. Well, let's now talk about some common errors in the narration change of WH questions. In the first example, the highlighted sentence has two mistakes. Number one, the conjunction that has been used. Number two, the tense of the reported verb is not changed even though the reporting verb asked is in the past tense. So the correction is, Harry asked me why I was screaming. In the second example, the highlighted sentence has a fundamental mistake. The WH question or the interrogative sentence has not been changed to an assertive sentence. The auxiliary verb could cannot come before the subject I here. So the correct sentence would be, I asked her what I could do for her. Finally, let's learn how to change the narration of two or more questions in reported speech together. For example, father said to me, are you hungry? What would you like to eat? As you can see, in the reported speech, we have first a yes or no question and then a WH question. If you have seen my previous video in this series, you know that for a yes or no question, we use the conjunction if or whether in indirect narration. Father asked me if I was hungry and what I would like to eat. Here both the interrogative sentences are first changed to assertive structures and they are connected with the help of the conjunction and. In the second example, we have two WH questions in the reported speech. He said to her, why are you upset? What do you want? We may change these two WH questions into indirect speech in separate sentences also. He asked her why she was upset. He further asked her what she wanted. So that's the end of today's class. I hope you liked this video. Please do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe to my channel for more grammar videos. Thank you so much.